Right, so today we're going to start talking about equations of lines. And before we do that, we're going to go ahead and talk about the slopes of a line. So let's look at a couple of slopes. So here I have one slope, and here I have another slope. Now, the slope is the steepness of the line. So notice on this one, it's way steeper than this one is. So if I go over a little bit here, notice that I go up a good bit. Now if I go over the same amount here, notice that I only go up a little bit. So this is called the rise, and this is called the run. So my slope, which is for some reason designated as the letter M, it's the rise over the run. All right. Now notice that if I have a slope that's going down as I go from left to right, then this one is, the rise would be negative and the run would be positive. Or I could do the other way around. I could say the run is negative and the rise is positive. But regardless, this is going to be a negative slope, whereas these two are both positive slopes. So as you go from left to right, if it goes up, it's positive. If it goes down, it's negative. Now, when I'm looking at this, what this is, the rise is how much my y changes, and the run is how much my x value. Remember, the x is the horizontal and the y is the vertical. So the rise is the change in the y values, and the run is the change in the x values. Right? And so let's look at a couple of examples here. If I say, well, if I have the 2 points, 2 comma negative 1 and negative 5 comma 3. All right. Now, first let's look at it on the graph, and then we're going to use the formula for it. So it is over 2 down 1 is my first point. And then the next one is over negative 5 up 3. All right, so here is my line. Now notice that this is going to have a negative slope, so we should expect that. And then let's see, how far am I going down? So if I start at negative 3 and I go down to negative 1, I've gone down 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. So over here it would be 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. So I'm going down 4. And then how far did I go over? Well, I'm starting here at negative 5. I'm going over to 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is over 7. So this is going to be negative 4/7 will be my slope. Now, notice that if I go from here, going from this point to this point, this is what I have. But if I go from here to, from this point to this point, then I would be going back 7 and up 4. And so that would be 4 over negative 7. Now these two numbers are the same, it just means that it's negative 4/7. So the whole thing is negative. It just means it's on the number line here, 0, negative 4/7 would be over here on the negative side. So it doesn't matter whether negative is in the numerator or in the denominator or out in front of the whole thing, it's still the same answer. Now, let's look at the point and use this formula to get the same answer that I got by graphing it. So this is the x-coordinate of the first point and the y-coordinate of the first point. This is the x-coordinate of my second point and my y-coordinate of my second point. So my slope is going to be y2, which is 3, minus y1, which is negative 1, over x2, which is negative 5, minus x1, which is 2. So all I'm doing is I'm taking these values and I'm plugging the numbers in, y2, y1, x2, x1. Now, minus a negative is plus a positive. So this would be 3 plus 1 over negative 5 minus 2. So 3 plus 1 is 4. And then down 5, down 2 more, down 7. So it would be 4 over negative 7. Okay, so that's problem number 1. Problem number 2 says negative 2 comma 6 and 1 comma 4. And this one I'm going to go ahead and do the formula first and then I'll graph it. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And again, it's always good to write down the formula. You get all points for all of this kind of stuff on your test. And so write down the formula and then plug in the numbers and then do the arithmetic. So this would be 4, y2 is 4, minus y1 is 6, over x1 is 1, minus x2 is negative 2. So this would be 4 minus 6 over 1 plus 2, because minus a negative 1 is plus, and minus a negative 2 is plus 2. So this would be negative 2 over 3. All right? So now let's look at it. And again, this is going to be a negative slope. So my first point here is negative 2, 6. So back 2, up 6. 3, 4, 5, 6 will be right here. And then the point 1, 4 over 1 up 4 would be here. All right. So notice on this one, we're going down 2 from here to here. So down 1, 2. And then we're going over from here to here, 1, 2, 3 steps. So 1, 2, 3 steps. 1, 2, 3 steps. So this is, here's my line, and this is negative 2 and 3. Or again, if I went from this point to this point, it would be negative 3 up 2. Okay? All right, so that is how you do the slope of a line if you're given 2 points. Now, I said we were going to talk about equations of lines, and so I'm going to talk about 2 different ways that we can do equations of lines. The first one is the slope-intercept. Form of the equation of a line. So it is y equals mx plus b. All right? And this is always going to be a line where the m is the slope, just like we saw up here. We use m for slope. And here the b stands for the y-intercept. We'll see that in a second. All right? So if I have the equation y is equal to negative 3/4 x minus 4, that tells me that my slope is negative 3/4 and that my y-intercept is going to be 0, negative 4. And I always write this as a point. Now notice that if I remember, what is the y-intercept? Not sect, intercept, okay? What is the y-intercept? The y-intercept is always where x is equal to 0, right? So if I make x 0, then negative 3/4 times 0 would be 0, minus 4 would be negative 4. So y would be equal to negative 4. All right, so my y-intercept is going to be 0, -4. Now let's look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's my y-intercept at -4. And then it says the rise is 3 and -3 and the run is 4. So I'd go down 3 more and go over 4. So notice that the x-coordinate here is 4. My y-coordinate is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is -7. This one was -4. And so my second point would be right here at 4, -7. Because remember, the x goes first, the y goes second. So what you do is you say my slope is -3/4. So I'm going to rise -3. So you go down 3 more, and then you go over +4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? And so then you can look at it and say, okay, so what is my x-coordinate? It's 4. And what is my y-coordinate? It's -7. And then I can draw my line. Okay? So now you try this one. And then do it on your own, and then try it again. And then you can watch the video and make sure you got it correct. So what if I have y is equal to 2x minus 3? All right, so this would tell me that my slope is 2, and my y-intercept is going to be 0, -3. Again, if I let x equal 0, 2 times 0 is 0, minus 3 is -3. All right, so this tells me that this is 2 over 1. So my rise is going to be 2, and my run is going to be 1. All right, so I'm going to start at the point 0, -3, because I have to have a place to start. So you want to start where your y-intercept is. That's the point. And then you're going to use your slope. So this says I'm going to go up 2 and over 1. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go up 2 and over 1. And that would give me my second point. Now what is this coordinate? My x is 1, and then my y is down 1. So this would be the point 1, -1. And then if I wanted to, I could do that again. I could go up 2 again and over 1 again, and that would give me another point, and then up 2 again and over 1 again, and that would give me another point. So you can do it as many times as you want, and all you have to do is remember that you're going up 2 and over 1. All right? Now, the next form of the equation is standard form. And we've looked at both of these forms when we were graphing lines. But let's look at standard form. So standard form is ax plus by equals c. Now when you're working on something in standard form is not a very useful form of the equation of a line. Notice that the x is to the first power and the y is to the first power, so you know it is a line. Anytime you have x and y are both to the first power, it's going to be a line. But from this, what I'm going to want to do is put it in a more useful form like slope-intercept form. And the slope-intercept form is the most useful form of the equation of a line. So let's look at 2x plus 3y equals 6. All right. Now, if I want to put this in slope-intercept form, I need to get the y by itself. So I'm going to subtract the 2x from both sides. When I subtract the 2x, it's going to come over here. And I don't have to write minus 2x and minus 2x because there are no x's over here. So I'm just going to say I'm going to bring it to the other side. When it changes sides, it changes signs. All right? So bring the 2x over. So changes sides, changes signs, and basically what you're doing is you're subtracting 2x over here, so this goes away, and you're subtracting 2x here, and so you get 2x. Then you're going to divide both sides of the equation by 3 to get the y by itself. So I get y is equal to, now the 3 is divided into both of these, so I'm going to write it like this, 2/3 x plus, and then 3 into 6 goes 2 times. So now I can tell that my slope is negative 2/3, and my y-intercept would be 0, 2. All right, let's look at another one of those, and you try this one on your own. 4x minus 5y equals 10. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the 4x over. And I'm going to divide everything by 5. So this would be, negative 5. So y would be equal to, so negative divided by negative would be positive. So this would be 4/5 x. And then positive divided by negative is negative. And then 10 divided by 5 is 2. And so here my slope would be 4/5. And my y-intercept would be 0, -2. All right, so that's how you work with slope-intercept form and how you work in standard form. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here, and we'll take it up on another video.